Hey friends, thanks for staying in touch. Just want to say right off the bat from Chaplain on the Spectrum, sorry I wasn't able to get it on Tuesday. Uh, as you know, I postponed it. We just started our young adult group. We got that going on. We're meeting on Sunday nights at church. And then I have paperwork from the hospital to fill out. I had a deadline. I had to get stuff turned in by Wednesday. Then I was helping Pastor here up at First Methodist get the material for our Wednesday nights, the specific course that we're doing together on church history. And so that was there was a lot going on there. So that was kind of difficult. And an old analogy a martial arts instructor gave me from when I was living in Maine is, priorities are kind of like a totem pole where, you have your head, your top head, and then you have the rest, and you go down and you get the top one first. And that top priority is the top of the totem pole. And then from there, you just kind of go down, and eventually it may take a little bit longer, but you will get there. And so sometimes I just have to compartmentalize like that. But that's why I notified you on Sunday night that I wouldn't be able to do the video until Tuesday, which I'm sorry I didn't get the notification up there, but a lot's been going on, and I'm glad that you guys are staying in touch with me. And so a lot's happened. I'm gonna not talk about this past Wednesday. I think that would be better for the upcoming Sunday, but go over the experience from Wednesday from Wednesday to Wednesday. So it's been a lot, to say the least. This past Wednesday, I can't talk about what all I experienced because of something I learned about called the HIPAA Act, which I will tell you about, which is a disclosure of confidentiality that you will not share a patient's information. All that to say, I encountered some interesting things this past Wednesday that were more than what you would have shown an intern right off the bat. And I got to, while shadowing, so I got to do some frontline chaplaincy work, which was a really, really good experience of getting to work with my fellow chaplains that way, and then rush to church to help with the lesson plan, part one of the church history lesson we're going over. But some highlights were, shadowing. The chaplain that I got shadow was a fellow United Methodist, and yeah, no, and we just got to do that, and I'm really, really excited about being able to do that. I got my badge. Um, I am officially referred to as Chaplain Joseph at, the internship work, I guess you would say, and in August it will then possibly turn into a residency. And some things I'm learning about the importance of empathy, because one of the things on the application that they stress is that this is an interfaith environment where you're going to be working with people of various faith groups, and you have to keep in mind the common good of the patient. And relating to me as somebody with ASD that has to compartmentalize, that might utilize masking at times, that's an interesting experience because I've heard it said before, and this really resonated with me, is that people on the autism spectrum might lack affective empathy, meaning we picking up on the immediate emotion, but we do well with cognitive empathy, meaning we're able to think about what's going on, and through things like learning to observe facial expressions. And it's maybe a little bit difficult for me at first, but I can manage to a certain point to where you learn to think about these things. And so in that, going into that environment, it's interesting because going into ministry, it's a lesson in how to learn from other people you may not necessarily see eye to eye with. And then from there, how can I be effective? And then what can I contribute to the team? Uh, and still maintain various boundaries of respect towards the patients. And it's a really good experience learning about how to deliver advanced directives for healthcare in case somebody might go into a coma, and how to be sensitive to the other person. And so, clinical pastoral education leading to chaplaincy. is a wonderful thing, and it's just really cool that I can be referred to as Chaplain Joseph. And I've got some people at work at church that are like, "Oh, Chaplain Joseph, should I call you Chaplain now?" And it's just a really really good experience, and so I'm gonna try to think of more stuff to ask, or more stuff to talk about in upcoming videos, because I'm just kind of rushing to get this done. And so as I go on, I'll have more. But as you all know, as a Christian, as a United Methodist, I'm a real Bible guy, and I just want to go ahead and read a scripture here. Not get too preachy, but just something that resonates with me and might encourage you as a viewer. Jesus, in his famous Sermon on the Mount, in Matthew 5, he states in verses 13 and 14, "You are the light, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." And interesting about those points of light and salt, I've heard it said before, salt is not the entirety of the meal. It just brings out flavor in the food and adds something to it. And without it, the meal can be very stale, very dull, and the same with light. You don't light a light just to look at the light. The significance of having a lamp, is to illuminate what's in the surrounding environment, because there would be darkness. And one of the questions devotionally that I'm asking myself going forward is not just what is my light, what is my salt, but what am I illuminating? What am I bringing flavor to? And also keeping in mind that I myself am not the end all. I'm there to contribute to a greater part of a team. I'm a representative of Jesus Christ. I'm a representative of the United Methodist Church. I'm a representative of the autistic community and what we can contribute and offer. But then it's not just me as a representative of those things, but it's what can that contribute to, and what can that bring flavor and illuminate. I heard an analogy in story form, and I like how Jesus really uses those as teaching tools, through whether it just be stories of incidents or whether it be through physical objects, as he does here. And it was by a gentleman from India who grew up in a house where they had a family servant. And the gentleman had never seen a movie. I don't know if this is a true story or not, but the gentleman had never gone to the movies. And so the family gave him the night off and gave him some money and said, "Go see this movie." Or just go to the movies. And the whole time he just stared at the projector illuminating the light, and he just marveled at the light, but never really experienced the movie. And so this is a really good experience to not so much get people's attention on me, but be able to say, "Hey, look at something else." And so hopefully be a witness in that sense. And so hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more to offer. But I would just ask you, if you're in the autistic community, what are things that are strengths, and what can you do that not just as an end of yourself, but also to illuminate somebody else's life, or to enhance the world around you. Or if you're a Christian, a religious, a spiritual person, how can we make the world around us a better place? One thing that they're having us do is listen to a series of lectures from Calvin University, and it's different speakers coming in. And one of the ones that I listened to last week on the list, because there's a set of January lectures, was by a gentleman who is a social worker. And the whole idea was about the disproportionate or the over-incarceration the mass incarceration in the United States and the disproportionate amount of African Americans. And he was relating that to Matthew 25, and when Jesus talked about, when I was in prison, you came and you met me. And when I was hungry, you fed me. And the idea that we as Christians, in the context of this gentleman at Calvin University, and I'm in that demographic of Christians, what can we do to contribute to the injustices that are around us? And, me as a chaplain, me as somebody who is on the autism spectrum, who, though I may put on a mask when I need to make small talk or interact with people, uh, I have my brain is neurologically designed to work in a certain way. Um, what can we do to make a difference to the world around us? And so I'd ask you if in maybe a devotional context, but also just in a general sense, what is something that you could be doing with your various gifts and talents? And so, yeah, and I will see you on the flip side. And from the Chaplain on the Spectrum, peace out. Bye. See you on Sunday. Bye bye.